Good morning, students. Today we are going to study the poem Amanda. Now, this poem, you might think it is you. Whatever is stated in the poem, might be possible that you might think same thing happens with me also. Why? Because all children feel that they are controlled to do one thing or the another. You want to break out. You may feel that your freedom is being stopped by your elders, especially parents. You think that they don't allow you to do this, do that, and you want to do so many things. So basically, they don't allow you to do, and this is what this poem is about, especially that stanzas which are in bracket. This is what the little girl wants to do, and the one where she is being instructed is the other stanzas. The second and the fourth stanza, these are the two stanzas where she feels what she wants to do, and on the next page the first stanza where she thinks that this is what I want to do, but unfortunately those are her thoughts, and what she is not allowed to do, that is what is the poem. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. See, straight away. Amanda is being told what to do and what not to do. Straight away, she is told not to bite her nails and not even to hunch her shoulders, because many times we sit with shoulders hunched up, and says that stop that slouching. Normally we sit straight with our chest out, but many of us have the habit of entering inside and sitting like that, which slouch. And her mother tells her that sit up straight, Amanda. Don't slouch like that. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Now, this is what is Amanda's thinking. She says that there is languid emerald sea. Languid means free flowing, smoothly flowing, and the sea is emerald in color. Emerald is a diamond, and that we normally see the blue color, greenish blue color of the sea. That is the emerald. Now, she thinks that there is that free flowing, easy flowing sea, very calm, and where the only person who is there at the sea, the only person is Amanda, a mermaid. She thinks of herself as a mermaid. A mermaid is what? Now, basically, it is a fantasy thing. People have never seen a mermaid. Mermaid is a fish with a woman's face. So, you can basically say it is a woman inside a fish body. It looks a fish except for the face, and she thinks that she is the only one mermaid over there who is drifting blissfully means heavenly peace in the sea, because nobody is there except for her. This is what Amanda is thinking when her mother tells her not to bite her nails or stop that slouching and sit up straight. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. This is normally what happens with you also. Have you done your homework? See how dirty your room is, put it in order. And clean your shoes and all those things which you don't do normally, in spite of being repeatedly told. This is normally what children by nature are. But then there are certain children who keep everything tip top, but then they are very few. Most of us are like Amanda, and this is what normally happens with you also, where you are constantly being nagged by your parents and you don't like it, but then these are the things which you should always do first, so that everything becomes orderly in your life. There should always be order and discipline in your life. That is why parents insist on telling you all these things. I am an orphan roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. What does Amanda think? In spite of having parents, she thinks it is better to be an orphan. Why? Because I'll be roaming the street, nothing to do, just roaming around. And then she says that While walking on the road, she makes patterns of the soft dust which is on the road with her bare feet. And she says the silence is golden. At home, her mother is always shouting on her, do this and do that, and don't do this and don't do that, and all those things. Whereas over here, roaming on the streets, nobody to tell you anything. She thinks that, oh, this silence is golden and this freedom is very sweet. But then, what will happen to you when you're roaming on the streets? Is that life? No. Here you have a very safe and secure background. Your family is there to look after you. Everything is provided for you. The only thing you got to do is prove to your family members that yes, whatever they are doing for you, you deserve it by getting good marks in the exam. Nothing else is expected of you. And say suppose you are like what Amanda is thinking, an orphan roaming on the streets, nobody to look after you. How long will that freedom be? Very soon, as you grow up, you will realize that because you were small, people used to give you when you used to beg for food and all such things, right? What we see on TV. But once you grow up, life becomes very hard and very difficult. It is better that you have proper formal education so that it helps you further in life. Whereas roaming on the streets, basically they all are illiterates, and normally they will have to do manual labor, which is very hard to do. So this is what Amanda is thinking. But then she is thinking why? Because she wants freedom. Which type of freedom she still doesn't understand, because she is a small girl to understand all these things. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne. Will you please look at me when I am speaking to you, Amanda? Now this is another problem. Chocolates. Even I love chocolates, but then there is an age where everybody loves chocolates. Everybody. And that age, we see many of you spoil your teeth because of it. Now normally, if you go and meet a dentist will say that whenever you eat anything you have to brush your teeth. Okay, fine. But then you might say, no, I ate chocolate when I was in the market, where I'll go to brush my teeth. Okay, then you can come home and whatever you have eaten, you come home and brush your teeth. But then, do we do it? We do it once in a day. That is when you wake up. Many of us are even too lazy to brush our teeth. And the second time you do is when you go to sleep at night. Before going to sleep, you need to brush your teeth. And in between, whenever you eat anything, you got to brush your teeth. This is what dentists say, but hardly anybody follows. How many times to brush our teeth? This is what we think most of the time. But we have to, because of that bad breath which comes out of our mouth early in the morning when we wake up. So mother says don't eat chocolate. Why? Because it is harmful. And she says, you remember your acne? Acne are those pimples which you get on your face. Because of the chocolate it used to happen to you. So don't eat that, otherwise your full face will become of pimples. And then she tells, will you please look at me when I am talking to you? Amanda never looks at her mother because most of the time she is scolding her. So Amanda looks in another direction when her mother is talking to her. I am Rapunzel, I have not a care. Life in the tower is tranquil and lair. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. Now, and Amanda's mother is scolding her, telling her to not eat the chocolate and all these things. Amanda is in another world. She thinks of her as Rapunzel. Rapunzel was a girl who was basically stuck in a tower. In fact, she was living in that tower and she could not come down. It was a very big tower and she was on the top part of the tower. One had to climb the stairs to reach there, but then she was cut off from the world and she used to stay alone. And she had very beautiful hairs, very long hairs. She stayed in the tower for a very long time. One day, a prince came there and he fell in love with Rapunzel and he wanted to meet her, but then there was no way to reach her. So Rapunzel let her hair down and he climbed on top of the tower with the help of those hairs of Rapunzel. She was so beautiful, having long hairs. But here, what does she think? That I am Rapunzel and I don't care about anything, and I will stay in the tower where life is tranquil. Tranquil is very calm, and such a life is rare where you have just nothing to do, a very calm life. And she says, I'll never let down my bright hair. Means she will never put her hairs down to bring anybody up over there. She doesn't want anybody in her life. She just wants to stay alone, away from everybody, enjoying the peace and comfort of her home, not interference of anybody in her life. That is why she wants to live the life of a Rapunzel who was shut up in a tower. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You are always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. Now, since her mother is scolding so much, Amanda starts to cry. Now, because she starts to cry, her mother says, "Stop that crying. You are so moody." Well, children are moody, everybody knows. But then, when her mother is scolding her non stop, it is but natural that she starts to cry. And what does her mother say? Anybody would have thought that I nagged you. Of course, she is nagging her means harassing her by taunting her non-stop throughout the poem. Her mother is only scolding her, and on top she is telling, "Stop crying, otherwise others will think I have nagged you." In fact, it is the truth that she is nagging her, and what she is telling, "I have not nagged you. So you stop crying, otherwise people from out will think I have nagged you." So there is an irony in this line that in spite of the mother doing what she is, she tells that she is not doing it. This is what is irony, which is a figure of speech over here. So this is what the poem is about. You also might think that my life is also like Amanda, because my parents also always keep on telling me do this and do that and don't do this and do that, and you are always lost in your own dreamy world. So basically this is what the poem is about. You might relate to it very easily.